Hello, and welcome back to Elderly Stories. Has it ever crossed your mind why a significant number of seniors seem to pass away serenely during sleep, frequently without obvious warning, seemingly without distress, leaving no chance for a final goodbye? The image suggests tranquility, but does it reflect the complete reality? Or could it be the silent climax of underlying health issues that went unnoticed? Nightly, legions of older adults close their eyes with the natural hope of seeing morning, yet do not awaken. Their families are often thrown into shock, confusion, and deep sorrow, searching for answers. This phenomenon isn't always simply the effect of old age. In the great majority of instances, preceding indicators were likely present: minor physiological alterations, quiet alarms from the body, signals perhaps overlooked or understandably interpreted as insignificant. The core reality is our bodies often attempt communication long before a critical juncture is reached. These messages might commence as faint whispers, potentially escalating to clear alerts, but if they go unheeded, the subsequent silence can become irrevocably permanent. In this vital video, we aim to lift the veil on the authentic medical factors contributing to seniors passing during sleep, and crucially explore how potential harbingers of danger might be identified before time runs out. Because peaceful slumber should be a sanctuary, not a space filled with hidden apprehension, and possessing the right knowledge holds the power to be genuinely life-saving, perhaps for you or for someone you cherish. Today, our focus is on unveiling 6 frequently concealed reasons behind nighttime mortality in older adults, alongside crucial insights into potential actions to sidestep becoming such a statistic. These points are not founded on guesswork or mere anecdotes. They are firmly anchored in established medical science, vividly illustrated by real-life situations, and intrinsically tied to tangible warning signs that are regrettably often disregarded. Irrespective of whether you are navigating your 60s, 70s, or the decades beyond, this information possesses potentially profound, life-altering relevance for you or a loved one. The sobering truth is that many of these stealthy threats don't necessarily erupt overnight. They frequently gather force gradually, often announced by small symptoms, ignored medication side effects, or slight changes in sleep habits that most might casually dismiss. Our objective today is to alter that perspective. By this video's conclusion, our sincere aspiration is that you will feel better prepared to recognize these potential early warnings and understand the straightforward yet effective strategies to help fortify your health each night. You inherently deserve to rest enveloped in peace of mind, not overshadowed by the fear of the unknown. If this subject matter holds significance for you, please consider subscribing and activating the notification bell. We are committed to sharing potentially life-saving guidance like this consistently. Now let's delve into the first, often startling, factor explaining why some seniors do not awaken to a new day. 1. Unperceived heart attacks during sleep, silent myocardial infarction. A principal, yet frequently underestimated, cause of abrupt nighttime death among seniors involves an event many never consciously register: a silent heart attack transpiring while asleep. Often missing are the dramatic chest pains, the instinctive clutching of an arm, the audible gasp for air, merely a quiet transition into unconsciousness from which, tragically, recovery does not occur. Consider Joe, 71, a retired Wisconsin firefighter, presenting as outwardly healthy as any contemporary. His lifestyle included daily walks, frequent enjoyment with grandchildren, and regular volunteer activities. One utterly standard evening, he settled into bed beside his wife, exchanged a habitual goodnight kiss, and simply failed to wake again. The immediate assumption leaned towards his time. However, post-mortem findings revealed the stark medical truth. Joe had experienced a myocardial infarction during his sleep. What deeply disturbed his family further was the dawning realization that potential precursors had surfaced weeks prior. He'd mentioned feeling uncharacteristically fatigued, attributed sporadic discomfort to heartburn, and noted waking a few times feeling vaguely off. He, like many, had minimized these sensations, and consequently, so had others around him. A critical insight often overlooked is that heart attacks in older adults do not uniformly present according to classic descriptions. Especially during nocturnal hours, symptoms can manifest as indistinct, surprisingly mild, or be entirely masked by the state of sleep. The American Heart Association highlights that seniors more commonly experience prodromal signs like unexplained tiredness, insomnia, shortness of breath, or minor indigestion in the days or weeks before a cardiac event, differing from the stereotypical intense chest pain. Indeed, estimates suggest nearly half of all heart attacks in this demographic are silent, meaning tangible physiological damage happens, but symptoms go unrecognized until intervention is impossible. During sleep, bodily functions naturally decelerate, blood pressure typically lowers, making subtle warning signs even more likely to be missed. This reality underscores the absolute necessity of prevention and heightened vigilance. If you are over 65, particularly with known risk factors, hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, routine cardiac assessments are essential. Discuss obtaining annual ECGs with your doctor. Vitally, should you notice persistent, unusual fatigue, disrupted sleep, or any chest discomfort, however slight, do not ignore these potential signals. Avoiding large, high-fat meals near bedtime is also prudent, as digestion can impose stress on the heart during sleep. Ensuring optimal blood pressure control, especially overnight, is paramount. Some individuals find benefit from nocturnal blood pressure monitoring or strategic medication timing adjustments under medical guidance, because that narrow margin between waking and not can sometimes depend on a single, informed preventive action the evening prior. If learning about silent heart attacks was particularly informative, please show your appreciation by giving this video a like. Speaking of hidden nighttime dangers, another pervasive threat often evades detection, despite impacting millions of older adults nightly. Let's address that critical issue now. 2. Sleep apnea, the nighttime intruder that halts breathing. The second concealed peril contributing significantly to seniors dying in their sleep is frequently misidentified as mere loud snoring, yet it carries far more serious implications. Sleep apnea. This disorder silently jeopardizes the body's oxygen levels, night after recurring night, potentially until one evening, the cumulative oxygen deprivation proves fatal. Carol, 68, a retired Ohio librarian, snored so intensely her husband often joked about it. However, over time, he observed a more alarming pattern. Significant pauses in her breathing, often followed by abrupt, forceful gasps, suggesting a struggle for air during sleep. He didn't initially grasp the gravity. Carol seemed to sleep soundly and voiced no complaints. Tragically, one morning, she did not awaken. Paramedics found no obvious immediate cause. Her heart had simply stopped sometime during the night. Subsequent medical evaluation confirmed severe obstructive sleep apnea, entirely undiagnosed. The stark fact is, sleep apnea is remarkably prevalent among older adults, with increased risk for those carrying extra weight, having high blood pressure, or managing diabetes. Its danger originates from the repeated interruption of adequate oxygen flow. Each cessation of breathing, apneic event, potentially occurring numerous times per hour, strains the heart, momentarily deprives the brain, and significantly elevates the long-term risk of stroke, heart failure, and sudden cardiac death. Compounding the issue, many affected seniors remain unaware of their condition. They might attribute daytime lethargy to age or accept frequent nighttime waking as normal. However, habitual loud snoring, especially with pauses, she gasps, consistently waking unrefreshed, frequent morning headaches, or excessive daytime sleepiness, despite adequate sleep time, are major warning signs demanding investigation. Fortunately, reliable diagnosis and effective treatments are available. A straightforward sleep study, often conducted at home, can confirm the condition. CPAP therapy, using gentle air pressure via a mask to keep the airway open, employs devices that are now considerably smaller, quieter, and more user-friendly. Lifestyle adjustments like weight management, avoiding pre-sleep alcohol, and favoring side sleeping can also offer benefits. Carol's story serves as a poignant reminder that seemingly benign snoring can mask lethal risks if its underlying cause remains unaddressed. Did this explanation of sleep apnea provide a crucial piece of information for you? If so, please comment with the number 2 below. And it's not only breathing rhythm that can falter, the heart's rhythm can also pose dangers. Next, we'll scrutinize a stealthy condition, disrupting the heartbeat and markedly increasing stroke risk during rest: atrial fibrillation. 3. Atrial fibrillation, AFib, the erratic heart rhythm endangering sleep. Another frequently overlooked condition contributing to seniors passing during sleep can lurk silently for years, often undiagnosed: atrial fibrillation, AFib. This common heart arrhythmia involves an irregular, often rapid heartbeat originating in the atria. For the person affected, it might feel like only an occasional chest flutter, a skip beat sensation, or potentially no symptoms at all. However, during the vulnerability of sleep, this hidden electrical instability can suddenly precipitate a major stroke or cardiac arrest. Nancy, 74, a former Arizona piano teacher, always considered herself healthy, maintaining daily walks and mindful eating. Yet periodically, she perceived an odd quivering in her chest, a distinct flutter. She consistently dismissed it as anxiety or normal aging. One night, after a pleasant dinner with family, she went to bed and never woke up. Medical reports later revealed undiagnosed AFib. The erratic rhythm likely allowed a blood clot to form, which then traveled to her brain during sleep, causing a fatal stroke. AFib's particular danger often lies in its intermittent, paroxysmal nature. It can be completely silent or produce symptoms so mild they seem insignificant. Regardless, the underlying risk steadily mounts. Blood pooling in the quivering upper heart chambers significantly increases clot formation likelihood. If a clot dislodges overnight and obstructs brain blood flow, a stroke can occur without any chance for the person to seek help. The CDC indicates AFib affects nearly 1 in 10 Americans over 65, yet many remain undiagnosed due to subtle or infrequent symptoms. This highlights the critical need for regular screening. Modern tools, including handheld ECGs and smartwatch features, facilitate rapid detection. If you've ever experienced unexplained fatigue, lightheadedness, or chest fluttering, even isolated incidents, do not ignore these. Discuss screening with your doctor. Effective treatments, such as blood thinners or rhythm-controlled drugs, exist to protect you during sleep if diagnosed. Even learning to check your own pulse regularity is a valuable first step. Nancy's story powerfully illustrates that even a seemingly calm heart can harbor profound risks. But what if the nocturnal danger stems not from the heart itself, but from prescribed medications? This leads us to our next point: how common drugs can become lethal when improperly combined or timed. 4. Perilous medication interactions. During sleep, not all nighttime fatalities are a direct consequence of disease. Sometimes, paradoxically, the medications taken to improve health inadvertently generate risk. Harmful medication interactions, especially involving drugs consumed near bedtime, are a silent yet significant factor in many seniors passing away during sleep. The most alarming aspect? These often occur because no single entity thoroughly vets the entire medication regimen for potential conflicts during the altered physiology of sleep. Margaret, 74, a retired Pennsylvania principal, managed several chronic conditions with numerous daily medications from various doctors. for blood pressure, sleep, cholesterol, and mild depression. Individually, each seemed appropriate, but one evening, after taking her usual combination, she went to bed and failed to awaken. The investigation revealed no standard heart attack or stroke, but a fatal synergy: critically low blood pressure, severely slowed heart rate, and excessive sedation resulting from the drug mixture during sleep. Aging alters how our bodies handle drugs. Kidney and liver clearance often decreases. A dose safe at 50 might be excessive at 75. Certain drug combinations potentiate each other, e.g., specific beta blockers and sleep aids, dangerously lowering heart rate or blood pressure. Others, like diuretics, some diabetes drugs, can destabilize electrolytes or glucose during the unmonitored hours of sleep. Fragmented medical care is a common underlying issue, with multiple specialists potentially unaware of the complete medication list. The solution: an annual comprehensive medication review with a pharmacist or primary physician. Bring all medications, RX, OTC, supplements. Ask specifically about nighttime effects and interactions. You might be surprised by the risks of common combinations at bedtime. Simple timing adjustments can sometimes drastically reduce danger. Also, proactively discuss deprescribing, carefully stopping unnecessary medications with your doctor. Margaret's story is a crucial reminder that even vital treatments demand holistic oversight. Is the issue of medication safety and review something you find particularly important? Please comment 4 below to signify its relevance. However, risks don't solely arise from ingested substances. Internal imbalances like critically low blood sugar during sleep can also prove fatal. Let's now address nocturnal hypoglycemia, a hidden danger particularly for seniors with diabetes. 5. Nocturnal hypoglycemia, the deadly midnight blood sugar plunge. One of the most acute dangers for seniors managing diabetes frequently strikes silently during the night. Nocturnal hypoglycemia, an abrupt, severe decline in blood glucose levels while asleep. For some, tragically, this marks their final physiological event. Harold, 69, a retired Missouri truck driver with type 2 diabetes for over a decade, diligently followed medical advice and took insulin. His main vulnerability was inconsistent evening eating. He often skipped dinner or ate very little, mistakenly believing this helped control sugar. One night after his usual insulin dose, he went to bed with minimal food intake. His wife found him unresponsive the next morning. It was too late. His blood sugar had plunged fatally overnight, likely preventable with a simple, appropriate bedtime snack. For diabetic seniors, particularly those on insulin or certain oral agents, nighttime hypoglycemia risk is substantial. Sleep often masks typical warning signs: shaking, sweating. Subtle clues might include vivid nightmares, unusual restlessness, or waking soaked in sweat. If the glucose drop is profound, the body's response may fail, and the person may not awaken. This occurs more frequently than recognized, especially in older adults with potentially fragile glucose regulation. Repeated lows can unfortunately blunt the body's natural warning signals. Hypoglycemia unawareness. The vital news: this risk is largely preventable. Key strategies include avoiding going to bed significantly hungry. A balanced snack helps. Discussing potential nighttime insulin dose adjustments with a doctor. Considering meals activity. Utilizing CGMs for monitoring and alerts. And diligently tracking trends, reporting symptoms like grogginess or sweats. Harold's tragic example highlights the critical importance of coordinating food intake and medication timing. Does managing blood sugar, especially the risk of nighttime lows, concern you? Please comment 5 below if this is a relevant point for you or your family. Yet not all sleep-related passings involve acute events or errors. Sometimes the body simply initiates a quiet, natural shutdown driven by advanced age, often signals subtly. Let's discuss this final phase and how understanding it can foster peace. 6. The final slowdown. when the body gently signals closure. Not every death during sleep arrives as a medical emergency. Not all are the result of a sudden cardiac event, metabolic crisis, or drug interaction. Sometimes the process is far more natural, the quiet, gradual cessation of bodily functions after an extended lifespan. It's typically not marked by overt distress, simply the body gently concluding its journey. Even then, subtle indicators often precede the end, signs loved ones might not fully grasp until afterward. Eleanor, 91, a former Vermont nurse, had lived fully. In her final weeks, a noticeable slowing occurred. She reported no pain, and vital signs were stable, yet distinct changes emerged. Significantly increased daytime sleep, reduced food intake without complaint, and sometimes prolonged periods of quiet staring. Her daughter initially saw this as mere tiredness. Experienced hospice professionals, however, recognize these as signs of life's final stage. This phase, often termed active dying, can commence days or weeks before the actual passing. The body instinctively conserves energy. Breathing patterns may alter, circulation slows, cooling extremities. Appetite naturally diminishes as the need for fuel wanes. It's a natural physiological transition, not inherently to be feared, but rather recognized and honored with compassion. For families unfamiliar with these signs, the final passing during sleep can still feel sudden. They might perceive it as without warning, when the body had actually been gently preparing. Understanding this natural progression doesn't hasten the end. It often brings peace. It allows families to create a calm atmosphere, express important sentiments, and shift focus from intervention to loving presence. For seniors themselves, awareness that these changes can be part of a natural trajectory may alleviate fear. Death isn't always an abrupt thief. Sometimes it arrives quietly, expectedly, when the body's ready. Recognizing natural decline doesn't mean devaluing life. Often it deepens our appreciation for the present. Every breath, every shared moment gains significance when we acknowledge life's inherent fragility. Now that we've explored 6 potential factors behind seniors passing in their sleep, let's synthesize this knowledge and consider how it empowers us to live with greater clarity, courage, and peace. Let's integrate these insights. If you've journeyed with us to this point, please comment number 6 below, confirming your engagement. Your presence is valued. And please hit subscribe and the bell if you find this content meaningful. We have now examined 6 often concealed reasons why many seniors might pass away during their sleep, emphasizing that these events are frequently not random. From silent heart attacks, sleep apnea, and undetected AFib, to hazardous drug interactions, critical hypoglycemia, and the body's gentle, natural winding down. Each possibility typically involves discernible signs, underlying patterns, and crucial options for prevention, effective management, or peaceful preparation. These are not inescapable enigmas demanding resignation. They often represent physiological signals we can learn to interpret and respond to proactively. Joe's profound tiredness wasn't just normal aging. Carol's disruptive snoring signaled a need for help. Nancy's heart flutters were significant. Margaret's medication regimen required careful review. Harold's empty stomach before insulin was ill-advised. And Eleanor's quiet withdrawal likely indicated impending peace. Each narrative potentially could have unfolded differently, or at least been navigated with greater understanding, through increased knowledge, attentive observation, and compassionate care. That enriched awareness is now accessible to you, because the truly empowering core message is, positive influence is often possible, starting now. You can feel empowered to ask probing questions of your healthcare team. You can commit to listening more attentively to your body's unique signals. You can initiate those vital, honest conversations with family about health and future wishes. You can consciously implement one small positive action tonight, perhaps ensuring an appropriate bedtime snack, reviewing your meds, or checking your pulse. That single step could hold profound significance. You are not powerless facing these possibilities. You are not alone. You possess considerable agency, and every day granted is precious, worthy of mindful protection and appreciation. Let's collectively take that first step toward greater peace of mind. If any aspect of this video resonated deeply, if a story mirrored your experience or that of someone dear, please share your thoughts in the comments. We read every message, and your voice might help another feel seen, understood, or prompted toward needed action. This channel strives to be more than just information. We aim to nurture a supportive community built on shared wisdom, genuine care, and mutual encouragement. Thank you sincerely for investing your valuable time with Elderly Stories today. We recognize its preciousness and feel honored by your presence for this important discussion. Stay well, remain proactively curious about your health, and most importantly, stay connected with yourself, your loved ones, and our community. We anticipate seeing you in our next video.